Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Ben. He's going to give us a talk about how he can get by with a little help from his friends.
Yeah, well, all right. So I did plan on having a few other things for this talk, but things happen. So I've instead wrote a little script for myself, and we're going slideless, so that's going to be fun. Yeah, and I've got the beer farmers accompanying me for when I inevitably break down and need a bit more support. I'm joking. So yeah.
Hashtag here for you.
Yeah, exactly. And have been many years, well, a good few years since I've known you. Cool. So I thought I'd pop this talk in. First of all, I'd like to say welcome to everyone to my talk. This is I get by with a little help from my friends, or alternatively, wow, some paramaniac from the north made a B-sides and it's freaking awesome. Either title works. So first thing, a little bit about me. I'm Ben Doherty. I'm a team leader of engineering over at Quorum Cyber. I'm quite an empathetic person, and what I mean by that is I bounce off the energy in a room. Nothing makes me happier than being in a room full of energy. It's my drug of choice, really. That kick of everyone working towards one goal, and that's what I love about cyber, really. I did plan this talk a little differently to how it's turned out. I had a full script set up. I had OBS scenes and things going across the bottom and all of that, but unfortunately, some gits decided to break into my shed and nick my laptop with all that on, along with other stuff. So hey, these things happen, but plan B time. It's time to run over it. This is the version with 0.05% of the research, a lot more of the energy, and yeah, skimming over a few of the difficult bits that are just a little bit too difficult to go into. So, my talk. I get by with a little help from my friends. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm here to talk to you all about the story of an odd fire-liking guy from the north that somehow managed to make a conference. And it wouldn't have happened without, well, a lot of the people sitting that you can see on the other side of the screen. It all starts with a chat with the guy in the office next door to me. This is many moons ago in a far different company to what I work at now. Andrew Waite. He was a security guy at where I'd worked at that time. We got chatting about security. We got chatting about the things that we know. And he mentioned BSides London. So I thought, right, I'll go down with him. I'll see if I can swing it from work. Work managed to cover it. And when I got there, it was just like, wow, I found my community. I found my people. I was nowhere near the smartest guy in the room. I'm not normally, but it's nice to know that you're nowhere near the smartest guy in the room. And the energy in the room of everyone that was there for the same goal, to see awesome talks, to make everyone more secure, and to just have a good time and catch up with their friends. It was really something that I thought, yeah, I want to bring this back. I mean, B-Sides events and other community-run events like BeerCon, like the many B-Sides events, like SteelCon, like 44Con, that kind of stuff. Those events are really what kind of brings it to me and makes me happy to go to, makes me joyous to go to. It's everyone being in there, working towards the same goal and working towards the same route. And as soon as I saw it, I wanted to bring this home. I wanted to bring this to Newcastle, and I wanted to show everyone that, hey, we can do it. We can make something. But that thought, it was in my head. I didn't really know many people. It was there. I was a lowly security consultant. I had a couple of friends in the field, but nothing much. But that's kind of where my journey started. It's been a couple of years after that, and after I'd started chatting with a few people here at Twitter and started here on Twitter and just started kind of trying to make myself a little bit known, I was chatting at 44Con 2019 with Jenny Radcliffe and Chris Morgan, sitting outside the ILEC. I think it was either just before or just after I showed CyberSec Stu how to play with fire properly. Because spitting fire is obviously a glorious thing to try and mix with InfoSec. And Jenny was just chatting about how she'd set up and how she'd start to run the B-Sides events. We started talking a little bit more, and by the end of the conversation, she gave me her contact details, and she was happy to mentor me and guide me towards helping with B-Sides. She'd give me the information that I needed. She told me who to talk to. She told me everything. So, as all the B-Sides organizers out there know, the crucial part of the process is the Jack chat. This is something that everyone knows who's part of BSides. It's you get to talk to Jack Daniel, who is someone that I've always massively looked up to. Even getting in the early years when I was at BSides, I massively looked up to him. Getting to sit down and have an honest chat about these are what's going to go wrong on your B-side. This is how it's going to fail. Don't spend any of your own money on it. Remember to get sponsors in. All of those glorious. Don't put your name on credit things when you're not going to. You don't know if you've got money. All those glorious things that I totally ignored. And he was particularly worried about the timescale. At the time, that was a little bit after 44Con 2019, so that was mid to late September, and we were planning on having it in. Oh, my brain's just totally gone. September, October, November. So we're planning on having B-sides in November. I think it was November 13th off the top of my head, or is that just because I said 13th? November something. And it was about 9 weeks by that time. He really didn't think we'd be able to pull it off. We'd be able to get the people in, and he warned me, don't tie yourself to it. Don't do that. So now that we've got authorization, it's time for me to kind of go, right, we'll do it. And if anyone that knows me, when I say we'll do it, it's happening. It may be a little bit late. It may sometimes be a little bit different to what was originally designed, but it's happening. And that's when things started. So what do you do first? You reach out on Twitter, you reach out to the community, you ask people for help. And that's where one of the people that has kind of really, really helped me all along the process, Sam, had stepped in, and Phil had stepped in to kind of help me run it. Sam, she asked for a sponsor form and then said, oh, is there anything we can do to help? Oh, silly mistake. So she ended up roped in as one of the organizers with me. There was Phil, who runs quite a few of the Northeast, Cyberfest Northeast, and a few other things like that, chipped in to say, right, I'll give you a hand organizing it. So we had our little team. There was a lot more people, and as I've said, there was a lot more research version of this, and there should be a load of names going across the bottom, but it's not going to happen. I will give everyone credit in the end, but hey. Yeah, so now we had some people who wanted to run a thing. Next, we need the venue. So, same again, I'm this kind of person. I went to my friends. I tried looking around for venues, I tried looking around for things, and I thought, right, let's think a little bit off the reservation here. About off my plot. Yeah, lost my plot. Somewhere around that lines. And I reached out to one of my friends who ran a skate park in the area. So what had our venue? We had an indoor skate park in the middle of November with no heating. But we'll get back to that later. We had them offering to do it for essentially the cost of covering what they'd lose that day with being shut, which was awesome of them. And better still, because they were friends, they didn't ask for a deposit or other things like that they probably should have. But hey, I was blagging everything at this point. We had very few sponsors involved. We had nothing kind of there. So yeah, that's we had our venue. We had somewhere to put it. Probably was a little bit odd, but we had somewhere. So what do we need now? Well, we needed money. And that's the difficult bit. Finding the sponsors. But again, that was made easy by friends. Friends were reaching out to the companies that they worked for. People were reaching out to other people that they knew in recruiting, other people that they knew in that kind of thing. And they were working together to really find it and help me get this off the ground. Quite a lot of friends, including some of the beer farmers themselves, chipped in money off their own back to get it running, which really made me want to do it so much better, because it wasn't just a semi-faceless organization. It was a friend that had put money in and really wanted to help make something good. So yeah, it's kind of, I mean, the sponsors that we had in that first year, there's Exabeam, Bermis, Hackbox, NTE, Octopi, Moon on a Stick, Octopi Research, Moon on a Stick, Harvey Nash, and Sharp Recruitment, all people giving their hard-earned money, their valuable time to make it come true, to make the dream of this weird madman who phoned them up out the blue and said, here, give me some money. I want to run something. Give me some money. Worked. So once we had a little bit of money sorted out, I was freaking out about being essentially really badly on the hook for all of the money for the conference, but I still was. Things hadn't cleared, stuff like that, but hey. So onto the, what else do you need for a conference? You've got your venue, you've got your sponsors, you've got your people, your team. I totally missed it. You've also got your villages. So Tim from Lockpicking Village, Tim from Lockpicking Village, he goes around a lot of the UK events. Had offered up, said, right, yeah, I'll come and run the Lockpicking Village. Lizzie had chipped in to say, right, I'll come and run the mental health hackers. Jenny had popped up to say, right, I'll do a keynote for you. Ian, who is sadly missing, I'm sure he's on his way running to give me a hug, chipped in and said, right, I'll do the lock note for you as well. So it was really just one of those things where everyone that I'd started to meet as I was growing had just come up and said, right, yeah, I'll help. I want to help you build this. I really want, and it's that means so much when you're trying to set up events like this. Scroll down. So we come to the part that's kind of the most important bit, the speakers. And again, we ran a CFP over, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks, ridiculously short time scale, ridiculously badly planned Google form to fill in for it. It was barely running, barely getting everything in, but it worked. And we got enough people to fill up the one track that we were planning. And then we got small people, so we thought, we'll open up another track. So we had to work out where we're putting the other track, put the other track in. And it was awesome. I mean, we had a load of, I did have the number in front of me, but it's not on my list now. But we had a load of speakers there. We had a load of people reaching out on their personal accounts to get more people involved in B-Sides, more people coming down to the B-Sides. I mean, at that point, I think B-Sides Newcastle had about 100 followers, give or take, on Twitter, which is nothing. But yeah, it was trying to get there. We decided where we're going to put the second track. It ended up being quite close to the wrestlers, but again, we'll come to that one later on. And we started to feel that it was going to work and work well. So on to the finishing touches. Many people who've organized conferences will know what's the most important thing? Food. You get them fed, they tend to be happy. You don't feed people, they tend to get grumpy halfway through, especially if you're doing something in a warehouse with no food places around and nothing in walking distance apart from McDonald's, which I'll leave that open as to whether that counts as sustenance. But yeah, so what did I do? Again, more friends, more people came in. I put the shout out to a few people that I knew and said, look, are we able to do anything? Is there anyone got a food van that comes down? There's a limited kitchen, but we can maybe try and do that, see what we can do. And it ended up some of my friends who ran their own pizza truck, Log 5 Pizza Company, come down and give us some freaking awesome pizzas. Pardon me. But it dawned on me, what will people do while eating their pizza? Of course they'd want something to do. They're not just going to sit around. So run a wrestling, put a wrestling event on. That's going to work. I was walking through with Rico and Rosa, the owners of Dynamics, the venue that we put it at, and there was a lot of grunting coming from one of the corners. And initially, I thought this was a bit odd. Lots of shouting, slapping, and grunting. But hey, you know what happens in a warehouse stays in a warehouse. But on a bit more investigation, it was a wrestling gym. So agreements were made, pizza was traded, and all of a sudden we had a nice wrestling show. Something odd. We can't be normal. We put B-Sides in a freaking skate park in the middle of November. It's going to be cold. Yeah. So with all the people involved, it was going to absolutely kick ass. And then the problem started. We didn't have projectors. Projector rental's freaking expensive. So me being me, yeah, everyone's well-known, owned by a rocket person, shipping company. We ordered some projectors. 60 quid projector. What could go wrong? No speakers? Speakers with the mic. 25 quid. What could go wrong? Recording again? I had a few laptops. Now they're gone, but hey. So hey, order a few cameras. Sweet. Should work. Great. Got some cheap cameras sorted. So that point, we've got everything. We thought, right, everything's there. Let's throw the tickets open. So we threw some tickets out there. They sold. We threw a few more out there. They sold. Threw a few more out there. They sold. Put all of them out. And they went. I was like, bloody hell. There's 250 people coming to this event. It's an event. Time to panic. But panic we did. As people who know me know, I do a very good headless chicken impression. But in the end, it worked. Everyone pulled together. We had speakers filling the swag bags before the event. We had people printing stuff off at last minute. Everyone who was involved in it chipped in. It was good. I mean, we get on to the day of the event. So, day of the event, we pitch up, there's knee tables. Minor problem. Sorted again. Managed to get in touch with a local church, borrowed some tables off them. Happy enough, got that done. So I got back and I got informed of the other problem while I was there. Oh yeah, you'd forgot to set up your stages. Oh, okay. So standing room only. All right, everyone fixed that. They went, they looked around, they found benches, they found chairs, they found stools, they found camping things, they sat on the side of half pipes, and we made it work. It was the only conference that I'm aware of where the attendees have built the venue, essentially. We had people running around, hammering nails into walls and all kinds so we could get screens up, and it was insanity, but it was possibly my favorite event I've ever been to, and I mean, I only caught 3 talks out of it live. The rest I watched catch-up. But yeah, only caught, well, no, I didn't. They never got recorded. I only caught a few talks live on it, but it was awesome. Oh yeah, I forgot about the cold. It was freaking cold. We did warn everyone. We said put a hoodie on. We said put a jumper on. We said it's maybe not the warmest of events. And we even got a heater. Rented a heater. A little bit of a tip. Check sizes of things. Heater arrived. It's about that big. Those you can't see, that's about that big. It's not the biggest of things. But we set it up at the village area. We got that going. Lockpicking Village quickly annexed it. But hey. And it provided heat for maybe 2 or 3 people. But hey, it worked. It was part of the event. It was there. It was part of the feel of the event. And I mean, yeah, it was awesome. Anyway, back to the day. We had Dan Card reach out beforehand, offered to build us an awesome CTF. They went off. It was the only bit that went off without a hitch. They managed to find and steal the only airtight room, or the windproof room, let's say. And with a few laptop fans spinning, they even managed to heat it, which was pretty good for them. No one else, but good for them. They had a great event, and it was the CTFs. I mean, I was playing a few of them after the event. Pretty cool stuff. Dan really kind of kicked us out the park. The villagers were working and set up. Lizzie had the mental village nice and chilled. Tim and Co had the lockpicking village sorted. The sticker stand was there. Our sponsors, Sharp and Harvey Nash, were holding down the fort in the recruitment village. There was CV workshops. There was great interview advice. And I was walking around my first event that I'd organized, having that feeling of, shit, I helped do this. I pulled everyone together. I seems a little bit me-centric, that little bit, but it's to walk around to get that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of, this is awesome. All of these people are here. They've put their time in. They're talking to other people. People are having conversations. It just makes you so happy on the inside. I mean, yeah. So all was running well. Day proceeded. The talks were awesome. All was good. Then I realized, about lunchtime, cameras never got set up. A little bit of a scary one there. So I bolted around, trying to fix the cameras, trying to get things up. Absolutely no hope. The lighting was ruined. The camera shot was massive. Nothing got recorded. And that's my big regret. And that's my only big regret about 2019 B-Sides, that nothing got recorded. But I kind of get over it by saying it was the Woodstock of B-Sides events. If you were there, you were there. If you weren't, you missed out. And it was fucking awesome. I'm sure come many a moon's time, there'll be people pretending they were there because it was that good. But anyway, while I was trying to fix the cameras, we had our wrestling show. And that was freaking awesome. I caught some little bits from over the top when I was sitting on the top trying to sort some cameras out. Still don't know who won, but plenty of people look confused as hell. Why was that there? So, job done on that one. The second part of the day rolled on. No more awesome talks. Took us towards the end of the day. We had our other stage that had to share their sound with the wrestling practice. So there was a few odd grunts and things like that coming over at inopportune moments. But hey, and we really yeah, it really started to look good. And then as the light faded, another problem popped up. We had a minor issue. If we switch the lights on, no one can see the screens on either one. And there's only one circuit of lights for this whole warehouse. So what's the solution? Switch the lights off. So towards the end of the day, we shut down a few of the other villages, left the mental health village run because it had its own light, because it was a little bit indoors, and thought, sod it, we'll just do it with the lights off. So that kind of gets to my kind of major memory of the event, and it was kind of thanks to one of the beer farmers whose seat's still empty. Tut tut tut. Get yourself running. You should be here by now. And that was watching Ian give his origin talk essentially while I was sitting on the edge of a half pipe. So, sorry, watching Ian silhouetted against the screen, because obviously you couldn't see him, you could just about see the projector. I was sitting on the edge of a half pipe, I was surrounded by friends, and I really felt at home. That was just the best feeling, and that's the feeling that makes me do B-sides again and again and again, and it's going to keep me going. It was awesome. All right, so where did it go from there? We had 2019 in the bag. Weird guy, community pulled together, and we all made it happen. So we started planning for 2020. Thought, right, 2020 is going to be our year. It's going to be excellent. Then the venue pulls, because they're going to get redeveloped into a housing thing. And then we got another venue, who also cancelled on us, because a reservation without a deposit gets trumped by a wedding. Hey. And then COVID happened, which kind of fucked everyone up. Yeah. So, to be honest, I started panicking. I started locking down. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't reaching out for help. I wasn't asking, and I wasn't doing what I should. And that's where Happy Hour kind of came into the fray. So on Happy Hour, I met people. I met great people. I met people like Scott. I met people like Jen. I met Lena. I met Chrissy. I met Jeff, Mark, David, Nikos, Ibad, James. The list goes on and should really be scrolling along the bottom. But hey, we've covered that. And they really helped out. I was talking about the planning, and it was probably about a week before the event was meant to happen, and the planning was in a disarray. Everything was ruined, and I was in a bit of a state on Happy Hour. And Scott and co reached out, and they said, "Look, we want to help you make this work. We want to help this event work. We want to help you. We want to help everything run." And so, if it hadn't been for them stepping in at what? I've got down in my notes a week, but I'm pretty sure it was something like 3 days, maybe 2. Yeah, we managed to pull it together. We put on a great conference again. We managed to do 2 days. We doubled the size of it. We did 1.5 tracks, because we did 1 track on one day and 2 tracks on the other day. We got Scott in to do one of the presenting. Sam was in presenting the other track, and we kept it open. We kept it as much of the feeling of the B-sides Newcastle as we could. It was getting. Sorry, I'm lost my space in my notes. Yeah, got a huge response. Everyone chipped in, and it was really a community effort. And that's when the community started feeling really like a family. Everyone was looking out for each other. Everyone was helping out. It was a case of, right, what can we do to help? What can we do to bring it in? And we got it to run through. We had some awesome keynotes. We had, where was it? We had the beer farmers kicking us off with our keynote on the first day. Was it the first day, or was that the PM one? We had the beer farmers, we had Charlie Sims, we had Sean Wright, we had Ray Redacted come in and do the closing keynote on it. And we really reached out there. At the time, the Many Hats Club really helped us out as well. But yeah, we were really, for the first time, really kind of starting to realize that, hey, this pandemic crack, we can still do things. We can still run conferences. We can still be B-sides events. At that year, I believe we were the only post-COVID UK B-sides event to have run that year. And I wasn't going to not run it. There was no time in that where I genuinely thought, nah, it's not going to happen. if it had been me sitting there ranting at you all for 8 hours, that's what would have happened. But yeah, it was awesome. I mean, we had that's where we started to get some of the little bit more odder twitches in. So we decided, how can we keep the oddness? Well, I know a few people at the Bartitsu Association. So hey, two grown men beating each other up, one kneeling down and pretending he's in a hole and all of that. Yep. Sounds exactly right. So yeah, we got them in to do a talk on lunch. I was chatting with one of my friends, Adam, and he had some contacts and managed to get Frank White to come over and talk to us. He did the lunchtime chat, why hackers should get involved with space. He went over the overview effect and all kinds of awesome talks that really I thought it existed, but I didn't know how to explain things. And yeah, his talks were awesome. We managed to broadcast over Twitch and YouTube, and the only reason we managed to get anything done was the crew that all chipped in at essentially the last minute. Everyone stood up, everyone put time out of their day, put the effort in, and really work together. And that's where you get to. It's the whole community bringing things in and being one big family and getting things done. It's I mean, there was issues with the stream, there was issues with the recordings. I mean, I stupidly record the whole thing as one chunk. Don't do that. That leaves you with a 40 gig video file, which doesn't edit well on like 8 gig i5s, first gen i5s at that, and 10 plus year old Xeons. No. So things like that, the recordings took a while to get up, but they were there. It was an improvement over last year. And because everyone else had reached out, it was the real feeling of everyone pushing towards the goal. So we actually managed to get all of it kind of sorted out. It was awesome. I mean, we had sponsors reaching out, we were reaching out to them in like the last days before the event, and they'll come back with, right, we can't sponsor it, but here's a prize. We can't sponsor it, but we'll help you with licensing. We can help you with this. We can help you with that. And it really did feel like everyone was just pulling together for the main goal. So where do we get to after that? And I'm skimming on because I know I'm chatting a bit too much. But we get to 2021. We were proudly the first live BSides event after COVID. It was awesome. We didn't have as many turn up as we sold the tickets for. Yes, a few people dropped out due to COVID, which totally understandable. A few people dropped out because they just didn't feel like they could get there. But to help that, we ran our platform on Gather. James, one of the guys that I'd met on Happy Hour, had found this platform, was working with it, and it's an awesome platform. So we had that, and the interactions that we had on that, we had the feeling that it started bringing the BSides flavor back to the online ones. We had all kinds of companies. I mean, the sponsors from last year, Colin over at Jumping Rivers. Without him, we wouldn't have had a venue. It was only because they'd got involved that we managed to get as cheaper prices we did on the venue. We wouldn't have been able to afford it, plain and simple. It was people like that reaching out and saying, right, look, here's a solution for your problem. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Do you want to do that? And that's really kind of the crux of it, the crux of the talk, really. Reach out when you need help, and the right people, and you'll find people will reach back. People will say, no, I want to help out. I mean, if any of you want to run an event, I'm more than happy to help out, to show you where I've went wrong. I mean, the beer farmers helping out with every event I've done, and being there for a shoulder to cry on in a lot of the situations, as Scott's rather wet shoulders would tell you. But yeah, being there as a friend and being there for it, it really, I mean, before I found my community in cyber and my family in cyber, I was that weird guy that liked playing with things, that liked, why are you prodding bits on your network? Why are you doing that? You meant to be an IT geek. You meant to play around with computers. I was that weird fire spinning guy. And with the family that I found through InfoSec, I'm not. I'm one of the brothers. I've got millions of brothers in InfoSec, well, thousands of brothers and sisters in InfoSec, and we all pull together for the same goal. It's all about being better, getting better, and growing with each other. And I know it's been a bit of a choppy talk, but that's pretty much it. I mean, we're going to go on to 2022. We've got the same venue booked for that, double the space booked. We've got so many ideas in the planning. I mean, speaking of ideas in the planning, all of the event things that we were thinking about for previous ones, they're all still there. We're still thinking about trying to do the highest hack. I've still got an IoT catapult sitting in my garden. I've still got other things like that that are going to be tied in. I mean, Duckle ships will be back. It will be rebuilt at some point. But hey, until it gets to the point where we can all be 100% in a big area without masks, without that, then it's just, they're going to wait a bit. But everything's still there. Everything will be planned and will get done. But yeah, I mean, to wrap up, I think one of the most important things I need to say is thanks to the beer farmers. I mean, from your members individually to together as a group, you have always supported me. You have always supported BSides Newcastle, and you have always been there for us. And that's a massive thing to me. That's something that really means a lot. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. You're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. That's
brilliant. And it means a lot to hear that, but it also means a lot to have the opportunity to support, you know. And we know putting on conferences isn't easy. This morning's challenges have demonstrated that. But again, a fascinating story, and anybody that's looking to create an event of their own, A, I think you'd agree, do it. B, maybe plan it. You didn't mention too much around planning. That was Jack's biggest bit of advice.
Plan it.
Yeah, but 3, which is the point of your talk, use your community. And that's what it's there for. So, listen, Ben, fantastic story. You're a great guy. And under the circumstances of this week, we're really grateful that you were able to join us. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Ben.